All right, our next speaker. All right, I'm just saying. Next speaker is Mike Smith. Did I pronounce that right? All right, got that one. Phew. That was my toughest one. It's hard. This job is hard. From Renew West. Welcome to the stage, Mike.
So my presentation's a little less sunny. I think we all know about climate change, and I think we've all seen a graph like this before, where we're entering this period of unknown, where the climate just won't be like what we've seen any time in the history of our species. But you may also think that, well, we're in the process of this energy revolution, and we really are. I mean, wind and solar are taking over the planet. Just this year, we're going to install about 100 gigawatts of capacity across the planet in solar alone. And what some of you may not know is that in 2016 we crossed an important threshold in which the expense of generating electricity from fossil fuels and new install is now more expensive or on par with utility scale wind or solar. That's a big thing. So it's the age of Aquarius, right? You know, the race has been run, the victory's been won. I'm here to tell you that's not really the case, because we have a bigger challenge that we have to tackle, and it has to happen soon. We've bent the curve, but the path that we were going on was a place we didn't want to go, but the path that we want to be on is still not there. We're not on the path to getting to below 2 degrees C, according to the Paris Climate Accords. And then when we look at the amount of fossil fuels that we're continuing to emit into the atmosphere, the IPCC says that we have only about 10 to 21 years in order of current emissions before we completely exhaust our carbon budget. That's a problem. And even more than that is when you look at what we're going to have to do after that. If we want to stay below 2 degrees C, somewhere between 2050 and 2065, we have to actively be pulling carbon out of the atmosphere, not just avoiding putting it in. We need to be pulling it out. That's kind of a big deal. And so you may feel like this guy. Or you may feel a little bit depressed or a little bit worried, or that we just maybe can't get there from here. But I'm also here to tell you that don't be like this guy, because we do have a path forward, and that we all need to commit ourselves to it. This is an example. This is a project that was done in Iceland. It's run by completely clean energy from a geothermal source, and it actively pulls carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and turns it into rock deep underground. It's been so successful that they've actually, 3 different startups, this one in Switzerland, have actually developed and started to scale this up to industrial levels. So that's nice. The only problem is that all of those look to get to $50 to $100 per ton by 2030. That's their goal. These are the prices for carbon offsets over the next 35 years. We don't get to $50 per ton until 2030, and that's only in the most optimistic scenario. And we don't get to 100 in the most optimistic scenario until 2040. So it kind of makes you want to scream. Again, you can see the future is so close, but it's just outside of our grasp. Well, I'm telling you, there's one more thing out there, and it's the way that nature really intended. And that is photosynthesis. It's just simple equation. It's the body and the plants energy of plants comes straight from turning carbon dioxide and water into the body of the plant. Pardon me. And we have some options here. When we look at restoring forests, we can up to 14 gigatons of carbon dioxide can be sequestered across the planet. That's a big number, and that's per year. When we start to expand that into thinking about changing our agricultural practices, where we start to inter more carbon into the soil, we can get up to 13 gigatons. So that's a future that we can look forward to. Now, when you start to stack that all together, we actually have now a path forward. And that path is bio-sequestration. There's a recent report out of the Nature Conservancy. 37% of our emissions using the forecasted price of carbon can be sequestered. If we expand beyond that, you can get up to 67%. So to expand the path even further, we have to continue the clean energy revolution. We also have to start bridging into bio-sequestration, and we have to continue to develop the technology for mechanical sequestration. A lot of people get kind of worried about the future, but I think that we have the tools at hand and that we really can have the future that we want. And we need to put our shoulder to the wheel. And the reason for that is because we're leaving it to the next generation. And this is my daughter, Ellen, and her generation is going to inherit our planet. And I want it to be a place that they want to inherit. So commit yourself to doing the hard work. Think about more than just energy savings, more than just clean energy. I'm Mike Smith. I'm the founder of Renew West, and we operate out of Denver in a company about planting trees in areas that have been burned by forest fires. Thank you.